Welcome to Wednesday Night Reviews. I'm your host, Konrad, and from superheroes to average Joes, here's what I read this week. So I had the opportunity to do a review of Echoes of the Triumphant #1 by Reverb Comics, based out of Ottawa, Ontario. It's the first comic this team has made, and it is the writer-creator Pat Murphy. The artist is Jarrod Bezzina. Greg Woronchak did the cover, and lettering by Michael McAdam. It's actually a kickstarted comic, so you can go out now and get their comic, Echoes of the Triumphant, Numb to the Core, which is their issue 0, and it lets you know all about basically the background of the main character, Adrian Avery, who had a rough life thanks to the presence of tweaks. So this book takes place a little bit in the future by a few decades, and in this world, basically people have emerged with powers, or tweaks as they're called in the book. It's similar to My Hero Academia, if you've watched that anime or read the manga. Basically, with the advent of these superpowered people, these tweaks, obviously the world has changed, but in a really bad way in this book, and I like it. So along the thinking of in the Marvel MCU, Iron Man and the government, in this world, people with superpowers are super regulated, and basically when you have a power or a tweak, that's who you are. You don't get to be really a person outside of that, and you're regulated, you're forced into basically using your power for labor, and that's kind of it. And just to start off, what this book did really well to, one, let me know what kind of environment and world this is, but also how these tweaks are treated, is we get introduced really quickly to basically a taxi service. So this tweaker has basically a bright yellow shirt on, and Adrian comes up to him because he needs to get to work, and he's like, hey, here's where I'm going, let's go. And he hops on this guy's back, and the dude books it at like 87 miles an hour. Wicked fast, gets him to work, and Adrian pays him his fee, and the guy's like, sort of expecting a tip, right? Like you would. And basically Adrian turns around and just doesn't give it to him, and more or less just says, hey, next time work harder. And that's the kind of treatment that these tweakers get. They're second-class citizens. They're thought of more as function than person. Like they're a machine. They're a product. And that part I enjoyed. It's a different take on what happens when superpowers become a thing. Another reason, though, that our main character, Adrian, has for this issue is, in his life, he wanted to, and he worked toward becoming something like a UFC fighter, and a professional martial artist, and he was good. And then superpowers came out, and suddenly no one wanted to care about the dude who spent 12 hours a day being a martial artist, just to hone his craft and watch that person fight. They wanted to see Superman versus, the Hulk. And so Adrian lost everything for that. Now, thankfully, he's been able to become like a detective, and when we meet him, he's working on a case to take down basically this drug ring run by tweakers called the Lionheart Gang. And we get caught up within his world, and it's a really interesting take, like I said, on the whole universe and how it works. And sadly, I think it's more realistic. I think if suddenly people had superpowers, we would have superpowered gangs. Now, one thing I liked about this book was the art, to be honest. It's definitely fresh, it's new, it is really raw, and as a result, as you can see here, some of the line work is a little inconsistent. There are issues with the art, but I think as this series progresses and as the creative team works together more and more, all those issues are going to be ironed out, and this is going to become a very, very, stylized book once it's fine-tuned. Thankfully, the overall book reads really well. The art itself, like I said, it's solid art. It's got great coloring in it. Everything is clear when you're reading it, and my big thing, my pet peeve, which thankfully this book does well, it leads your eye. So while this book has a lot of dialogue, it never overdoes it. So I've never hit a page in this book where I was like, oh God, I've got to keep reading. Ugh. Even in its most wordy times, you get through it fast because there's not a lot there that you have to worry about sort of trying to, rip through. It's just, okay, here's what we're saying, boom, let's keep moving. Even if characters get chatty with each other, it flows. And along with the paneling flowing, the conversations flow. And so overall, artistically, I was really happy with the book. And as I mentioned, so they've got issue 0 is out. I've got issue 1, and the first arc is going to be 1 through 4. They're currently working on issue 2 as we speak. Overall, I found the pacing in the book solid. The language in it was fun, because they're very crass. Like I said, it's this gritty world. People are not treated properly, or as people sometimes, and the people that we do meet, their speech is indicative of that. Like, for instance, Adrian, I'm not sure I'd like him as a person. As a character, he's interesting to read, but I probably think he was a bit of a... And what I like about that is there's no, like, token good guy in this book. It's a fun thing that I enjoy personally when reading, because I understand Adrian's motivations, and I can get into his head and understand why he wants to do what he's doing and how things will affect him. But like I said, he's not a good guy, and I like that. So this creative team has really set up a good world. Again, some of the art here is solid. The panel work flows well, and I think the writing really allows you to be pulled through each page, take something out of it, and enjoy it. So guys, absolutely check out reverbcomics.com. Check them out on social media. I'll have everything up here that you need. Always be sure to get their number 0 because it's $1.99 Canadian. If you've got change for Timmy's, you can buy this book. Check it out. And then when issue 1 comes out, you can get it in your hands or in digital. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Hit the like button and subscribe for more. I'm your host, Konrad, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.